makes most women start a business? Is it passion, money, or freedom? Welcome to Female Founders, the podcast that takes you behind the scene with women who are founders and CEOs to help you start and scale a successful business of your own. I am your host, Nagelia de Ravin.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Female Founders. In today's episode, I have the pleasure of speaking with Helena San Miguel. Monica, the CEO and founder of HueTrition, blends her passion for nutrition with technology to promote healthy lifestyles. For a former athlete and author, she's dedicated to making nutrition eating fun and colorful. With over 20 years in food and health industries, Monica is a visionary in wellness. Hi, Monica. Thank you so much for giving me that chance to talk to you, to get to know more about your HueTrition and then all the work that you are doing out there as well. So now, could you share with us your journey from being a professional and a college tennis player to becoming a leading figure in the food and health industry?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So my journey started early. I had I was blessed with having the opportunity to play tennis from an early on in my life and to really have this upbringing in my family. I came from a medical family of looking at food as fuel. So I always had that perspective. And then moving forward, when I earned a full ride to Texas A&M University after playing as a teenager professionally, I was blessed again with the full ride. I played tennis, and I decided instead of going into medical school, which was the original plan, I decided to go into nutritional science. And from then on, it was all, into the food industry with, mixed with health and wellness, always working towards, either creating new, healthier products or creating the strategy for companies for being more better for you and to be able to help people really lead a healthier lifestyle.
You said that from beginning you wanted to go to medical school, right? Then you changed your mind. What was that moment that made you change your mind?
Yeah, I have a lot of doctors in the around the family, and I love the science, right? So I got all the background, did the biomedical curriculum undergrad. And through the internships and going into hospitals, I felt like although I respected that, I wanted to be in a more proactive, preventative versus being in the hospital setup. I love the science, but I wanted to be able to do something more preventative and proactive.
So you wanted to do something a little bit more different, especially at the beginning. You also mentioned that in your family, food is fuel. So I guess you wanted to do something with that.
Yeah, I was brought up with the idea that you are what you eat. So I was blessed with that, and lots of veggies, fruits, protein, and so I wanted to do something with that. I guess it was in my DNA to do that.
So now from playing tennis to switching to that, does that have something to do with it? Maybe when you were playing tennis, that the way nutrition play a big part of that, or is it something that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as an athlete for performance, you learn very quickly that what you eat has an impact. So you can experiment in your own body, but that's how I was saying, like, food is fuel to be able to do the things that you want, not only as an athlete, but in general. I think that was something that was in my, my experience personally as an athlete, but also, in the other later stages of my life.
So now what inspired you to establish HueTrition, and how does your personal philosophy shape the company's mission?
Yeah, one of the first jobs right out of school that I had was a child nutrition supervisor for 9 elementary campuses coming out of school. And I got to see it was a great experience because I got to see firsthand how it worked, right? From the supply and creating the menu that was nutritional sound, but also seeing the children, how do they interact with food and veggies? And I thought even today there's always a need for education, but not only education, but making it simple and fun for bringing families to lead a healthier lifestyle. To really, the whole premise of HueTrition and the reason why I created it was to really help bring them together and eat and live with more color, right? And I say eat and live with more color because if you have that foundation of food is fuel, food is love, and culture, that helps you kind of bring the whole family together as a lifestyle. Is not a diet, is more like if you learn the good mindful habits from an earlier age, then it makes it easier as you progress in your life.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit more about the company. I love the name, by the way you take the HUE, you put it in front of the nutrition. It's amazing. What make you come up with the name like that? What's the meaning behind it?
Yeah, I wanted something short, something different. You take a composite like hues for color and nutrition from nutrition. That's how we came about with the name for HueTrition as, the umbrella for the company.
But now HueTrition uniquely combines technology, health, and nutrition. Can you explain how you mix these three to help people?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've, in the last 20 years previous to HueTrition, I had been working in the food industry with health and wellness, combined roles. And, what I wanted to do is one of the things that I always heard was like, when you look at the food brands, they're so exciting, the marketing and, all the technology enablement. And I wanted to bring that into simply making eating colorful fruits and vegetables fun, right? Make it simple. It's not a chore. It's not like you eat your vegetables and then you get dessert, right? It's like, it's actually fun to eat it. And so that was a lot of what has been driving the effort in HueTrition. And now, in the last 10 years, there's been such an advancement in technology that we thought we could even put that, the fun into, apps, mobile apps and tools and resources for the family that could be enabled with technology. It's not only the technology, we also have other resources that are print and more in the physical space. And I think the combination of both is what makes it possible, right? To make it real and to say, hey, I have a resource for families to get that, fun recipe and cook together and really have fun together.
So now when you say fun colors, so usually when my mom used to say fun colors to me, that means there's a lot of green, which means that I don't want to eat them because they don't taste too good. So is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah, we have 6 colors in HueTrition, and it's all in the book. We created a guide, how to eat color. But I think the beauty and most of the nutritional and health benefit comes in the combination of naturally occurring colors. And I'm going to say that because when you find like blue ice cream, we're not talking about that. We're talking about naturally occurring color. And so when you combine that, and you'll see even in our logo in the color wheel, it was meant to signify that you want to have a variety of naturally wholesome occurring color that comes from vegetables and fruits, ideally in your lifestyle, and just filling half of it, half of your plate. We have a lot of the language that says, your plate is your canvas, is because we think that something as simple as filling your plate with half colorful fruits and vegetables can really help a lot, for, continuing or maintaining a healthier lifestyle.
So pretty much we're talking like, if you're going to have a plate in front of you, make sure you have some, perhaps when we're talking about colors, carrots, we're talking about the orange color here. If you have some strawberry, we're talking about red. You have some grapes, it's like you have a variety of different colors, which is helpful for your body.
Exactly. And not being afraid to try different things, right? And sometimes at the grocery store, we tend to stick to the same things.
Yes.
So having that exploration, say, I haven't seen this new fruit, and kind of exploring into that. And, and you can take little smaller steps towards trying something new and say, hey, I'm going to try a new veggie or a new fruit this week. And that keeps it interesting and makes it fun as well.
I agree with you. So now, in your book, Health healthy and colorful eating made fun. What are the core principles that you are passing on to your readers?
The core principle is exactly true to the mission, is to eat more color, right? That it is fuel, and that if you're intentional with that it doesn't have to be a diet. It doesn't have to be something that's a chore, but more importantly, that is sustainable, and sustainable in the sense of like you can keep up with it. When you go on a fad diet, it's kind of like it comes in and out. HueTrition is a lasting lifestyle. It's not something that you just kind of take on for the next couple of months and then you just get off. But it's a journey, right? So that it's meant to be that long-term view on health, but starting at an early age so that those habits carry you through.
They stay with you.
Ideally in your later lifestyle, in your later life stages. And so that's the whole premise of it, that it's meant to be a guide and a resource. And whether you are in your 20s, or whether you have kids at home and making decisions for the family, or whether you have certain chronic conditions, it's meant to be a guide for the family on some principles that are easy to follow and easy to stick with, that can really make a difference. And not only your life expectancy, but also your quality of life over time.
And you're right when you talk about making it fun, especially when you're talking about kids. And if you, for example, if you tell my son here's a broccoli, go eat it, he's going to look at you like, yeah, no, I'm eating that. But again, if you mix it with other things, they will eat it a lot easier, like.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why our whole purpose is to bring the families together, because I think it's exposure too, right? So the first time maybe your son says, oh, that's not what I want to eat. But if you continue to at least give that exposure, right?
Yes.
It may not be the most favorite veggie that he'll ever eat, but he'll start being a little bit more open to eating that and making it interesting with spices and cooking it together.
Yes.
Also, it helps to know where the food comes from and the source, right? Kids love to be exposed to going into a farm and seeing how it's grown, and that's always a good thing. And that's why we have a component of the living in color, going into nature and really learning about the source. But I think it's exposure. I think it takes 6 to 7 times or something like that before somebody is like open to eating something new. And
yes.
Then when it comes down to kids, and like I mentioned earlier, is to make it fun, right? To make it like a whole experience. So even in our signature app that was featured on the Food Network, HuePets, it's a whole program for kids 10, probably 10 and below, right? To say how to make it fun. And we even have a character that's based on broccoli, right? So if a kid is like, oh, I don't want to eat the broccoli, maybe they have this exposure to the app and they can level up. So the character becomes from an egg into a Hue Master in the game, and they see the broccoli, and the character is literally called Brock, right? So the character levels up. So now it's more of a positive and saying, hey, let's try to scan the broccoli, let's try to cook together. So that's the intent.
Yes, and also one thing when it comes to cooking vegetables, I mix them with the things that I know my son love a lot. So even when he's eating it, he doesn't even realize it. After he'd be like, Mom, did I eat that? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, that's so good. I want to eat it again. Can you give it to me? Like, for example, black beans. He didn't like black beans. For whatever reason, he chose not to like black beans. So I started to blend the black beans, and I make it almost like a soup. And I put it with the rice. And he started eating it like that. And he's like, this is really good. So now he will ask for it himself.
And, that's awesome, because the mixing sometimes, like, for example, the beans and rice is actually a complete plant-based protein. It has all that combination naturally has all the amino acids that your body needs. And so that's a complete protein. It's actually a dish. If you've heard it, like, it's moros y cristianos, it's like a dish that, combine is delicious, right?
Yes.
And you can season it to your liking, but it also is nutritionally very, very good for you.
So the HuePets app has been a significant success. So now, what impact has it had on families and children's eating habits?
Yeah, we've had the program in the past with several hospitals. We've also done it at the retail grocery level with big names such as, Whole Foods and others, where we did a scavenger hunt. We partnered with other brands in the past as well. That's on the more private side, but even into schools, we have a whole set of resources that a lot of them are free that the schools K-12 can use. Also worth mentioning is we have been a USDA My Play national partner, and I am the committee for the children and teens to develop tools that can be available on their website for free. We just published a new recipe book that's, Cooking with Huey, one of the characters in the Hupettes, and we're revamping that. And again, it's full of recipes that are, incorporating color. So that's some of the stuff that we've been working on and will continue to update for people to have available. The HuPets app is free and available on the App Store and Google Play. So families can really benefit from that if they choose to. It has a reward system for the parents if they choose to use it. So basically they scan for color as they level up, and the parents can decide if they want to use the reward system. So it's meant to bring, again, the family together. And we do have some fun campaigns and contests planned for 2024. So stay tuned specifically for February. So for HuPet.
This is sound great. So you collaborate with major entities like you mentioned earlier, USDA My Plate, and also Whole Foods and Dole. How do these partnerships help HueTrition objectives?
Yeah. So as you can imagine, some of the, a lot of the resources are free. Our mission is to bring families together to eat and live with more color. And to that, we partner with both the public sector as well as to make our resources available to more families, but also in the private sector. So as you can imagine, the stores, when you go to a retail grocery, well, that's where you find all these colorful fruits and vegetables, not to say obviously farmers markets, and also the healthcare side of things, right? There's a big movement where it's like food is medicine. So we are really continuing to partner with those private entities that are like-minded, that want to drive this mission forward to make fruit and vegetables more available first, but also after you have access to them, how do you continue to want to eat them, right? And make it fun. So we do partner, and we're open to all those partnerships to move this forward. It's going to take a village to really continue to hone in on the message.
So now with HueTrition, I know that you have the apps, which is free to families, and also you have the cookbooks. But how do the company, let me rephrase that. What other ways the company also is helping people? And also it's a company, so you need to bring funding in to survive. So does it provide services that people can purchase that they can use to stay healthy?
Absolutely. So on the B2B side, you can direct to consumer, you can see our book. So that helps support all of our mission, right? You can find our book that you mentioned and the recipe book on Amazon, Google Play, Barnes and Nobles, etc. So that's on the, on the B2C side. We also offer online cooking classes. We have a whole range of culinary experts and nutrition experts, and you can book whether it's a consult or a cooking class on our website directly on the consumer side. On the B2B side, we do, as I mentioned, we partner and have our services to other entities. So basically, we develop anything from custom programs for retail grocery, for partnerships with brands to get their word out, as well as healthcare and corporate wellness programs, not to mention even speaker engagements as well as workshops. So if a company wants to have, for example, New Year's is around the corner, like a corporate wellness program that's custom to them, as well as a workshop with one of our chefs, really teaching or team building with people, then we do that as well on the B2B side.
This is amazing. How do you find time, by the way.
Hey, it's always, you know how that goes. Everyone is pressed for time, but I think I'm a believer that you make time for the important stuff, and this is really near and dear to me, right? I believe I've seen it in the last 20 years from many different angles. Like I said, I started on the children nutrition, and then I went into the food industry. I've seen the healthcare side of things, and I do believe there's still a lot of work to be done in educating and making it, accessible, simple, fun for families, so that everyone can lead a healthier lifestyle. So you gotta, that's where a lot of my time goes, and I'm thankful to have the opportunity to do that.
Start your kids early. Start them to eat healthy, be healthy early, so that they can stay like that when they get older.
Exactly. And if you think about it on a personal level, it's like an investment, right? So you say on a macro level, like there's a lot of healthcare costs associated with, not making choices in chronic conditions, but, it's as a one individual, it's kind of like an investment for the long haul. So, to really make those choices so that hopefully, that drives the better life expectancy and quality of life in the later stages, and saving potentially money on a personal level on medications.
Yes.
If you can prevent it. Obviously, there's a lot of conditions that cannot be prevented, and that's obviously requires medical nutrition therapy. But, if you don't have a condition, maybe that's a way to be more proactive and have a better lifestyle.
Especially with fast food, right? So we are busy parents. We work. We wake up early. We drop the kids to school and go to work and come home late. And sometime on the way home, we just stop at the fast food, pick up something for them to eat because you're too tired, and cooking is not something you feel like doing right now. But again, what we are doing is we're putting all these bad habits into our children. Perhaps there are other easier way to make that without have to stop at the fast food every day and pick up something. Maybe you can cook the night before, or during the weekend, you prepare something that they can get from your apps and from your books, and prepare it early instead of just picking up the fast food. Because I met people that get addicted to fast food, and I'm not saying it's bad. Sometimes it's okay to cheat yourself once in a while, but it shouldn't be to go on a daily basis.
And it's all a balance. I'm glad you mentioned it's all a balance, right? So we have that premise of like the convenience and the reality, right? That there's no perfection, but that's what we focus on, the simple things that you can do. And to your point, there's a lot of things like meal prepping. We're coming out with a meal prepping guide, like to your point, to save time for busy parents. So what do I do on Sunday to set myself up for success for the week and for the family as well? So we do have those guides that help parents and people to say, hey, you know what? I can do this. I can stick to this. This is actually a good tip. And we really focus on the simple tips and hacks. We have a YouTube channel where we have different series, right? One even, it's so we call it Hue Holidays. It's like how to, stay healthy in the holidays. We have other things and, talking and answering questions about how do I get my protein? How do I do more plant-based if I choose to? How do I meal prep? So we have those resources again, and we'll continue to add for families, because we understand that you're pressed for time, and what saves me time, that's also a good choice that I can actually stick to, that makes a huge difference in the lifestyle for the family.
Exactly. And one thing that I for the past few years that I added to my family is we used to have snacks for, especially on weekends if we go somewhere. So what I did is I changed that with pineapple, oranges, strawberries. So now if my son comes to me and say, can I have a snack? The snacks become fruit. So it's only, we clean it. It's in little plastic cups. It's already done, and just hey, you can just eat that instead. And it's a lot better than instead of eating the chips and the cookies. And I'm not saying that don't eat cookies. I do cheat and eat cookies once in a while. Sweet is something you cannot run away from. But if you can replace that with something else, like a pineapple, like take a small oranges, you take two of them, you eat that. It's a lot healthier, a lot better for you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you nail it on the head. It's like, it's balance, right? So it doesn't mean like you're not going to have a treat or you're not going to have a cake, and you need to enjoy it. I mean, I believe in that there's all a balance, but on the more frequent choices, then you can do exactly what you're saying. And convenience plays a key factor, right? It's taste and convenience. So you want to, because people like, taste is king. It's food, right? It's meant to taste good. You want to enjoy it. And also the convenience. And to your point, meal prepping, when it comes to a lot of the fruits and vegetables are very convenient. Like, so what's more convenient than an apple? You can pick it up, or a banana, right? That's convenient. But also the prepping of certain things. So for example, a lot of stuff that I do is like prep, like the pineapple, right? The fruits for the week. So have them available. I think a lot of times kids just want to see them. Like if it's convenient and you put it in a nice container and it's right there, you can't miss it. So that the healthy choice is the easy choice, right? So that there's options there, to your point, like you're doing, where they go, oh yeah, maybe I'll eat that. And it's right there. And then, it becomes easier for the whole family to stick with that.
Absolutely. So what advice would you give to entrepreneurs who wish to make a difference in the health and wellness sector?
My advice would be, it's a journey, and I think you need to enjoy the journey, right? So when you have a mission-driven sort of business, I think that drives you, right? Like it's like you can see it in the end, and that's what keeps you going. It's not going to be easy, but that if you stick with it, you're making a difference. I think that makes that's what drives you, at least for me. Like, that message or that tool or that something that you're working on is ultimately going to make a difference in people's lives. And I think that, to focus on the journey and always keep it in perspective that, if you're doing that, then good things are going to come your way.
So now looking towards the future, if you're looking toward the future, how do you envision the growth and direction of HueTrition?
I would love to continue the mission. Like, there's a big movement post-pandemic where people actually are taking even more seriously, right, on their health. And I want to continue that work. And I think the conversation and all the companies and everyone is more aware of like just how important your health is. And I would like for HueTrition to continue to play a role in that, education piece, and making it fun and simple. Like we were there before pandemic, and I think everything has been accelerated with that, where people are more interested in less on diets and more interested in a long lasting sort of change or a lifestyle for themselves. And I think that plays right up into what we're all about in our mission. So for me, I would love to continue and expand partnerships with healthcare insurance providers, with retail, grocery, and brands, as well in the public sector, right? To make more of this tools, resources, and messaging that can help people really eat and live with more color and ultimately have a better lifestyle.
Be healthy.
Yeah, but truly, like with a focus on health from the inside out, right? Not just in the in like a very short term, like superficial sense of it, but true health is really cannot be bought with money, right? Like it's just and so you can have access. How do you continue to stick with it? And then for those that don't, like I also feel very strongly there's a whole effort that we are being part of it to drive forward more access to more healthier fruits and vegetables.
But now, are there any new areas or technologies in health and wellness that you are looking to explore and integrate into your business?
Yeah, without giving too much away, we do have planned a tool for families. It's not just for kids, in how to make choices in 2024 that we're going to roll out in beta mode. It's called our Hue Approved Scanner. So stay tuned for that. We're fine tuning some of the elements of it, and we hope to roll it out hopefully by Q2, but you start hearing a lot more. And it's really, again, just meant to be a tool
to make better choices. I love that. And that's coming out in 2024.
Correct, in 2024. So stay tuned for that. Basically, food is not just, it's culture. It's, you want to, think about the component of a cookie, right? So getting in the kitchen, fewer ingredients, right? How do I make choices that maximize my nutrient, like my macros and my nutrients in my body, but also that taste great, right? So they're cooked with love, and also, how to make better choices for those items that are prepackaged, right? That are convenient. So to your point, we can't say that it's going to be every day you're going to be perfectly cooking from scratch meals. So how do you then make better choices for those that are more convenient choices, and to be able to balance it out? So it's meant to be a tool, but really focus on fewer ingredients and more nutrition and the taste and culinary piece.
So how can someone reach out to you, Monica, and also reach out to the company?
Yep. So you can find more about our mission on HueTrition.com. We also have the kids program. Specifically, the website is HuePets.com, but you can find it all on HueTrition.com. How to reach me? You can follow us on social media. We're in all the different platforms, but also you can email me. You can email me at monica@HueTrition.com for any questions. And we also have the general commentary box at info@HueTrition.com.
Before I let you go, I have one more question for you. As a thought leader in the food and health industry, what is the one message or insight you would like to leave with our audience today?
I think the one message is that we need to start early, and it's all about education. I think that there's a lot of conversation around how to extend life and later in life. But I think there's a lot of good work that we could do in the earlier stages, right? Rather than after the fact. I mean, there's a lot of conversation after the fact, extending life, how to, basically do that later on. But I think there's a lot of work, and this is what makes me excited. And part of the reason why I created HueTrition is because I do believe it needs to start earlier, right? In the conversation, and is that education and that foundation of the generations to come. And I think they are ready for it, right? You see in the up and coming generations that there's a lot of interest for things that are more sustainable and more longer lasting than just fad diets and quick fixes.
Exactly. Quick fixes usually doesn't work for that long. That's why they call it quick fixes.
Exactly. And then you go back. So, so we're excited just starting early and keeping it fun and simple.
Keep it fun and simple. Loving it. Thank you so much, Monica, for giving me that chance to talk to you, to get to know more about the company and all the great work that you are doing, not just for adults, but also for children. A lot of time when we start businesses, we start big companies, we don't think about the kids, right? We think about the adults. And then I love when I seen it that the children are also included. Like you said, if we start early with those habits, they take it with them to the adult life, and that stays. And then we can stop those diabetics, those diseases that's not required that us to have just because we don't eat healthy, just because we don't eat good. Like some kids have high cholesterol in an early age. Those little things, we can stop them early and help them manage it to be healthy when they get older.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the chronic, like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and to your point, those are lifestyle, like they're preventable, they're reversible, obviously different for type 1 and other chronic conditions. But I think a lot of the bulk of a lot of the issues we have in early childhood is truly preventable, right? So a lot of it comes to education and habits, and that's near and dear to me. And that's why I'm saying if there's one message is to keep moving the dial forward on early on education, prevention, versus after the fact.
After the fact, yes. Thank you so much, Monica. And I look forward to having another conversation with you. And I can't wait to see what's coming out for next year? Because I know you have a lot.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I look forward to telling you more later in the year about what we are working on. And thank you for having me today.
Thank you for listening to Female Founders Podcast. That's it for this week's episode. Be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast app or connect with us on womel.com so that you don't miss our next episode. See you next time. Bye for now.